What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Ask A Fence Gal Fri-YAY.
Hey, yeah.
Live from the new studio.
New digs.
It's been a heck of a week. We started moving. The reason we weren't live last week was we were moving.
Yes.
So, which is quite an adventure. We didn't move far. It's only like 150, 200 feet, something like that. Not very far.
Yeah.
Which actually, in hindsight, makes it worse. If you're moving across town, you go and rent a big U-Haul or a Penske truck and move across town all in hopefully one trip or maybe two. When it's moving right next door, you're like, I don't need any of that.
Yeah.
I'll just walk it over. And then it's approximately 327 trips.
Yes.
Approximately. I lost count there for a little while. It's all the trips.
Yeah. Actually, my Fitbit jumped off of my wrist. It was done. Over it.
I filled the rings on my smartwatch pretty quickly. So Saturday was crazy. We started first thing in the morning, and then I was here till about 7 o'clock that evening, ironing out the internet and the phone systems. But luckily,
here we are.
We've got internet.
Yeah.
So
you did good.
Yeah, here we are. So let me know what you guys think about the studio, or let us know what you think about the studio. So one neat thing is what we used to have behind us was like an artificial backdrop. It was canvas. It looked neat. It looked like fence boards, but it was just a printed canvas. Yeah. This is actual. It's actual lumber. So, and the cool story about these, they're actually recycled redwood fence pickets. So when I learned about them, I was like, you know what? What would be a better fit for the studio for a fencing YouTube channel and all that than recycled redwood fence pickets?
Yep.
So we put them up.
Here we are.
So let's say hi to everybody. Dylan Blanc, what is up? Fence Prince checking in.
Hello.
Hello,
and
Dylan.
Thank you for getting it right this time. Sarah and Joe. I think it was more like, what's up, Sarah and Joe?
No, I don't think that's right at all because I've met Dylan. Mm-hmm. Like Dylan.
Oh, no.
The mic was muted, so sorry about that, guys. We are unmuted, but yeah, so you guys probably, I don't know where it cut out, but
no idea.
Multiple monitors are around this place, and it's confusing which one to look at right now.
Yes.
Jeff is here. Again with Sarah and Joe. What is up, Jeff? Sun shining in Pennsylvania, full of fence bidding. I love that a lot.
Hey, that's
if you got any extra sunshine, go ahead and send it over. We would love to have it. So it's actually right now it's not dumping rain, but it's been dumping rain since about midday yesterday. They're calling for like 8 to 10 inches of rain by the end of the weekend. I think 10 inches by Sunday is what they're saying. So
yeah,
it's getting wet. Well, actually, so me and one of the crews, we're out installing a fence. I won't get into it, but we were out installing a fence in a water retention basin. And long story short, the guys were knee deep in water when this thing was over because just the water. So this water retention basin catches all the water runoff from like 500 acres east of 65.
Yeah.
So it's just a quarter inch up there turns into a foot there at the retention basin. So anyway.
I believe that.
Not ideal, but Jeff, I appreciate you checking in for sure. Yep, Dylan, we lost audio, so you had our back letting us know.
Yes, thank you.
But we got it back. All right. Well, guys, as you're joining us, let us know you're here by saying hi in the comments. Let us know kind of what you think of the studio. This is like version 1.0. So this was literally just like get it up, make it work, and then we'll figure it all out. So like as I'm looking at it, we've got shadows like here, and we got some weird shadows going on. But overall, I think the picture looks nice. The picture looks nice. So yeah. Also, let us know how the audio sounds. I'm really interested to hear how you guys get feedback from you guys on what it sounds like. So in here, it sounds echoey.
Yeah, it does sound a little echoey.
A little bit of an echo. I think it's because there's laminate floor. Are these? Yeah, you'd call these laminate, right? Laminated wood.
Yeah.
Like they're
engineered hardwood.
Engineered hardwood, yeah. So in the studio we were in, it had carpet. Like it was commercial carpet, but it was carpet. So I think that helped knock the noise down a little bit. I mean, I figured after we got all the equipment up, it would kind of knock the sound down. But it's got, maybe it might be that the ceiling tiles are bouncing some of the echo back. But let me know how it sounds on your guys' end for sure. Yeah, so good point, Chad. So I didn't even think about which chairs we usually sit in until I went to put the banner up.
Oh no.
And so wait, and let me take your comment down. Like, well, okay, we will just leave. We will just leave that. We'll just leave that down.
Yeah.
No big deal. Less confusion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but you're right. So what we're gonna do is we'll switch chairs for next time. We'll do that. So we're still trying to figure everything out. There's a lot going on in here, and we're still trying to like get it figured out exactly how we want it. I think ideally this monitor, the monitor that's in front of the camera that you guys are watching on, I think I would like it to be this feed, like with the comments.
Yeah, kind of cool.
Maybe, but I don't know if you could read them up there or not. We'll see.
And we could even almost, I wonder, we have another.
We could throw it over there.
We can put it over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Actually, we could probably. I'm sure this is great content for you guys to watch. I'm sure you're loving it, but we're going to try this live and just see how this goes. So we'll grab it, minimize it.
Okay.
We'll throw it up here.
Things are happening, guys.
Okay. All right.
Well, look at that.
And you can read it and everything.
Wow.
And then we'll just go like this.
Yes.
Okay. It has
way better.
We can read it.
You can read it. Yeah.
And it has a little echo.
Looking to the side instead of
down. Well, and what we might do is figure out a way to put this monitor
closer up there.
Under or over, maybe. I don't know.
Making moves.
We'll see.
I like it.
So we have a video coming out. So while we're doing, Jeremy and I do the YouTube stuff. He's my videographer. And he also helps me just with all things video. So he and I spent most of the day Wednesday moving most of the studio stuff over. Equipment and such. And so he and I are going to work a little bit more at this on just really dialing everything in. But for now it works.
I like it.
So
it's awesome. And it's nice to be here on site.
That's right. So, and that's the thing is really nice. Yeah. So the studio that we were recording from was like, it was only about a 5-minute drive, but it was getting in our vehicles and driving over there and getting set up and turning everything on. It was nice today to just literally walk upstairs, turn some lights on, and here we go. Yeah. So that was definitely nice. I think it's going to be easier for us to create content, which is always a good idea. So we've got some big plans for Ozark Fence content. Yeah. And when I say we, I mean, I've got big plans for Sarah to make a bunch of YouTube content for Ozark Fence.
I like it. I'm in.
Yeah, if you guys have been on our YouTube channel, the videos are a little outdated, a little bit. It was, but fun fact on that is they were actually made in my living room.
Oh.
Yeah. So we had a backdrop that Taylor would take the kids to the park and let them play for a little while, and I would throw up this backdrop and I'd throw up some lights and start recording and. And then eventually I'd get a phone call saying, "Hey, I am bringing these kids home. You had better be done." So I'd have to tear everything down so that it wasn't in their way. So a little outdated. So they were probably made about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. About time for an update on the videos.
I like it.
So, yeah.
Cool. Now we got the place to do it.
We got the place to do it, and Sarah's going to be in charge of that. So that way. Because sometimes there's a little bit of confusion, right? When you knock on the door, they're like, "Hey, where's this Joe guy?
Where's the guy with the beard?"
Yeah. And she's like, "Listen, I'm nicer. I'm easier to work with. So, I mean, neither of those are true, but that's what she tells people. Yeah. So it'd be good to have her be in the videos. Video is a subject that I've been speaking on quite a bit lately. I talked to a couple groups in Nashville. Next week, I'm talking to a group in Atlanta all about video, about the importance of shooting video because it helps you meet your potential clients in their environment on their own time.
Yep.
So, if they want to watch a video about our processes and procedures at 11:30 on a Tuesday night,
sure can.
By all means, knock yourself out. It helps them answer their questions on their schedule.
Yeah.
So,
which, this year is probably for some reason, I'm not sure why, but we've had a few customers that they work overnights.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard they had to either stay up or it's just hard to communicate back and forth. I mean, you've got email, but to your point, it's just so much nicer when you have a video, like a tutorial of how to do some of this stuff.
Right.
They're able to do it on their own terms.
Well, and at least give them a little bit more information about us.
Yeah.
The 5 foundational videos are the who, what, when, where, why of you and your business.
Right.
That's what I preach to everyone.
Yeah.
And so we really need to do a top, who, what, when, where, why for Ozark Fence, then for Sarah, and then for each of the team members, so that when Sarah, one of our team members, comes and knocks on your door, you already know who she is, or you already know who they are.
Yeah.
And I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I think it would be. So now that we've got a spot, it could be raining buckets outside. We could still be creating content. Such as right now. All right, we got a few more comments.
All right.
What is up, Steph? Hello,
Steph.
Ozark Fence. The studio looks great. Thank you. I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Does it look a little dark, guys? So watching it on this TV, it looks dark. Now, on that TV, it doesn't look so dark. So maybe it's not. Maybe that TV, the color's kind of odd with it. Let me know. Let me know if it looks a little dark. We got a couple pretty good sized lights up here.
Yeah.
We could definitely play with it. Live video idea you had for the Mr. Fence Academy is golden. Makes the company relatable. So absolutely. And Dylan is just kind of expanding on what we talked about, which is the who, what, when, where, why, but do it live. Because by doing it live, you really, you don't get the option of not uploading it. It's uploaded in real time.
Yeah.
Also, it helps you get content out quicker.
Yeah.
Because you're not stopping every time you say or ah or if you fumble a word, you're not stopping it, restarting it. It just helps get the content done. So probably one of the reasons why we do the live show like this. Yeah. Well, it lets you interact with your clients too, with your group too. Yep. Yeah. So I'm a pretty big fan, which is why we do it for the Ozark Fence, which is what you guys are watching right now. So that if someone had a fence related question, they could certainly drop it in the comments below and we could answer it real time. Or if they'd like to just kind of sit and watch it, that's an option too. So
it makes you more relatable too.
That's right.
It's not just a proper, newscast. It's
that's
more of a, hey, I'm a person too, and we all stumble, we all,
Right.
But
and I think that's really the point is you want to be relatable. You want people to feel like you're approachable.
Yeah.
Right. That and maybe they, because of maybe they've been following you for quite a while, and part of what you said in one of the videos, they really, really could relate with that.
Right.
What I'm really ready for is Sarah to knock on somebody's door and like, you know what? I'm glad it's you because I got some questions about aliens.
Yeah.
That is what I am very ready for.
I'll be like, hold on. Have you heard of Joe Rogan? Let me put on this podcast real quick.
He does cover it fairly well.
That's really where all my information comes from on the matter. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of information.
Well, and that's what I was saying. So while I was in Nashville, we had dinner with some of the contractors there, and we were talking about aliens because they watched the live and they said, hey, let's talk about it in person. So, okay, but just so you know, anything I'm getting ready to say has already been said by Joe Rogan. Yeah. I literally consume it and then parrot it back. Yep. That's kind of what I do.
And not as well. It's me.
No.
I'm like, I think it's kind of like that game of telephone.
Yeah.
Where you get like 75% of it right. Like, I'm pretty sure this is what he meant by it.
This is the gist of it. And then actually, what if he watched one day and he's like, what?
Guys, no.
That's not at all.
No. Yeah.
Watch from his bunker.
Yeah.
I think he does. I think he records it from a bunker. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Walt Dennis, welcome back. Looking great. I mean, obviously, he's probably talking to me.
Oh, sure.
Like,
absolutely.
Joe, you're looking great. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he probably meant you too.
Sure.
It's probably.
It could be about the studio, but
I mean, I know I did ask for feedback on the studio, but I don't think that's what this is.
Picket actually does, pat his ego.
Yeah, it needs a little bit. It needs a little bit of padding. Head is not big enough yet. What is up, Taylor? How are you? Are any of the kids watching? So Taylor's my wife, and usually she'll let us know, hey, Jackson's watching, or obviously Macy is not watching. She should be at school right now, so because she's still doing the hybrid, so she does school from home in the morning.
Okay.
Yep, and then I believe she goes to school about noon or so for the hybrid. So for her afternoon, so she has core curriculum from home, and then she does her alternates at school. So for all of you wondering what Macy's school schedule was. But yeah, welcome Taylor and maybe Jackson and probably Josie.
Yeah, likely Josie.
Hello, Josie. Yeah.
Hello.
All right, so let's talk about the week. It's been a long week.
Yes.
But we've gotten quite a bit done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, no thanks to the weather.
No. It's not cooperated.
No.
Great.
Nope.
That's okay.
Last week was a good week, so we did do a live last week, so we can kind of recap the week last week. It was decent weather.
Yes.
So we got quite a bit done.
Yeah.
This week, like I said, a little bit less so, but we still got quite a bit of stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah.
A few projects that were scheduled for today. So it was supposed to be just pouring rain all day, and it's been pouring intermittently throughout the day. So we kind of, or I say we, you and Scott, really kind of took the initiative and then rescheduled some of the work that was supposed to have been done today into next week.
Yep.
Just because, I mean, worst case scenario is they drive, across town or to Republic, wherever, and start working and then realize, it's pouring rain. Yeah. And then now they're sitting in the truck and they, just not really effective for anybody. So you guys rescheduled some of those projects for next week.
Yep.
But the nice thing about having the schedule the way it is, we set projects on Mondays, Tuesdays, finish them on Thursdays, Fridays for the most part. Leaving Wednesday as a flex day.
Yep.
And so next week, this is going to come in real handy because we're going to be able to shuffle work around with that flex day. And so us losing a production day this week does not negatively impact next week.
No, it's been great. And we were able to set all the posts to where, so for both of the jobs that you're talking about for next week, or that carry over to next week, there's removal that's involved as well, but we were able to actually set the post to where they don't have to remove it until they come and finish it. So no worries with dogs. Especially one of the backyards had, really 4 neighbors to where they're like, oh no, they all have dogs. But it just so happened that they're MediaCom lines anyway, right on the property line.
Okay.
So we made that call, talked to the customer.
Let's talk about that. Why? So we have to move it in when there's utility lines, right? So there's a 2-foot margin of error on either side of a marked line that legally we can't dig in.
Right.
Now, sometimes we're compelled to. The customer says the line goes where it goes, but at that point, we're not liable for any damages because we know there's a pretty good chance we're going to hit something.
Right.
Like that's the way our luck works. Is we're going to hit something, and I think there's a misunderstanding with the lines that anytime you see a paint mark, now the line locators, they certainly try to get as close as possible.
Sure.
But with the tools that are available, there's a margin for error there. Yep. And so that where the mark is not necessarily where that utility is. It could be anywhere in that 2-foot margin of error on either side. So really 2 foot on one side, 2 foot on the other side. You have a 4-foot margin of error, 4-foot alley of where this utility, because the utilities are hardly ever straight.
No.
If we're talking about rigid lines, absolutely they'll be straight. Sure. But if we're talking about communication lines, they tend to move. Because when they're being installed, they hit a rock, they move it. That's fine. Yep. But anyway, so I'm sorry. I jumped in on that. That's so there were utilities anyway, so we had to move the lines.
Very old fence that we were going to be removing and replacing. But I think they're MediaCom. Those lines were put in after the fence was installed. Okay. So they just kind of hugged the old fence, put it in. So now we've got lines running, and we weren't able to put the fence exactly where it was originally. So we called the customer, explained what's going on. So that's fine. There's nothing anyone can do about it. So we moved it in, but that allowed us to not have to take out that back fence.
Yep, there you go. That makes sense.
It made sense. And then he said, you know what? Yep. Then we put it as close as possible to the existing sides. And so it really worked out.
Nice.
It really worked out, yeah.
So the process is when we go back to finish it, we'll finish the fence and then we'll remove the existing fence or in the same day.
Same trip. But nice. All dogs are protected. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Let's catch up on some
comments here.
All right. So Jackson's watching.
Hi, buddy.
Josie's eating.
Oh, okay. Good for you.
Kenny Dugan, what is up? Kenny's hanging out with all of our streams. He was on my stream yesterday.
Okay.
So Kenny, I'm actually going to bring him on as a guest on the Joe Everest Defense Expert YouTube channel.
Okay.
This guy has some knowledge
that
we need to share. So he's from I want to say Dallas Fort Worth, but that's not right. So it's Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I think it is. Kenny,
correct
me, but I think it's the Dallas Fort Worth area. Him and Walt Dennis are down there kind of in the same area. They rode up to the event in Nashville together.
Oh, cool.
If I could have been a fly on that car window just to hear the conversation that went on in that vehicle,
I like it.
That would have been neat.
Fun.
Kenny, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. So, wait a minute.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Without details. I like that. Oh.
He just said hi, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even know you.
It doesn't matter.
You guys haven't met. I have met Kenny twice in person.
I'm telling you, that has something to say about you in person. I don't know.
Guys. All right.
Man, better sibling.
Question. So it's only for you question. Okay.
I don't know. You know what? I'm going to weasel my way out of this one. I'm going to say our sister Rachel. Ooh, better sibling.
I like how you did that.
Yeah.
I like how you did that. Now Kenny was absolutely putting you in a position to answer that question, but he didn't know.
He did not have the backstory.
There was an option C.
There's a third sibling. Yeah.
All right. Whew. All right. So Sarah's answer is our middle sister, Rachel.
Yep.
Oh, Walt.
Woo!
Walter.
They probably just know that I like Texas more than you do.
I love Texas.
Do you?
I do.
Do you go to the stockyards?
Well, like not specifically. Like all of them in Texas? No. No, I haven't been to all the stockyards in Texas.
Fort Worth. It's very cool. It's a very happening place.
Moving on.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Moving on. Lori knows. Hey, Joe and Sarah.
Yeah.
I was sure to mention Joe's name first. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that a lot.
Happy birthday back.
Uh-oh.
Yesterday was Lori's birthday.
Happy birthday, Lori.
Yes.
So Lori's one of our call center rock stars.
Yep.
So she makes sure all the calls are going well. Her and Stephanie work together there at Pink Collar. So Lori, thank you. Yes. Appreciate it. So one neat thing, so Friday, having them on board with our team was incredibly helpful on Friday. Yes. So the way our phones work, our phones are internet-based phones. So when they're moving our offices, they have to shut down the internet at one office and move it over.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have the calls forwarded, all of our calls forwarded over to Pink Collars, even the ones that come directly into the office, which is good because when the phone service was set up, it was not set up properly. So we didn't even have the option of having phones until like 7:30 that evening. So luckily, Lori and Stephanie were ready, and they took the incoming phone calls and routed them and answered questions for us. So,
very helpful.
Ladies,
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Big part of the team, and I'm glad that you said hi, Joe, first. All right, Dallas area. So I thought Dallas Fort Worth area, but then I was like, I questioned myself. I'm sorry for questioning that. Yeah, so Walt's really trying to narrow this down. Only better 2. Oh. So, well, we're just going to bypass that question because I think we know the answer.
Here's the deal, though. It depends on who you're asking, right? So, by the grandparent clause, you would be a better sibling.
Well, yeah. But I'd like to hear your reasoning.
Kids. Well, because you have kids.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like I mean, I have dogs and they're amazing. But
Max was here today.
Max was,
That was very nice when I saw. I was sitting in my office, just tap 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 tap, and then I see Max pop around. Like, oh, Max is here.
I like it to be a surprise. Just see how long it takes everyone to notice that Max is here.
The production just like, boom, bottoms out, but it is a fun time.
Yep.
Max comes to the office. So Max used to be in the office like almost full time.
Yeah.
He was like our full time office mascot.
Yep.
And then he likes staying at home a little bit more.
Yeah,
he likes being able to play and A fence yard's just not a great place for a dog. Yeah. But when Max makes an appearance back, it's always a really good time.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Rowdy Bowdy.
This is 3 for 3 people that you know in person.
Well, guys, it was great to see you. That about wraps it up for whatever this thing is, and we'll just never see you guys later. So, final episode in the books.
First and last from the studio.
That's right. Hope you guys love seeing the studio because we're not doing it again.
Hey, John.
Yeah, what is up, Rowdy Bowdy? So I use John a lot as reference when I'm talking about doing video.
Yeah.
John does it really right.
Heck
So
yeah.
during each one of his project walkthroughs, he whips out his phone, goes live on Facebook, like, hey guys, John Bowdy, Stony Creek Fence. I'm here, wherever, insert town name, and I'm reviewing a 6-foot privacy fence that we just built. It's such a great idea.
It is. It's cool.
It shows attention to detail that tells his clients exactly what he's looking for, how he's looking for it, and and they get to form a relationship with him.
Yeah.
They get to follow him around all the job sites. So in the back of their mind, they know, hey, if John's guys are installing the fence, John's going to come look at it, and he's going to make sure it's done right. He's going to look for X, Y, and Z. Yep. He's going to work the gates, make sure the gates work well, because that's usually a client concern is, are the gates going to work well?
Yep.
So John's doing good stuff.
Well, and I watched a video the other day that he did, and I liked that it wasn't all sugar-coated. He found something that he didn't like, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was. But he's like, oh, don't like that. I'm going to have the guys come back and fix this. And they were there, obviously. But it was cool. I like that it wasn't just like, oh, and let's scan past that real quick. It was real and it was raw, and that's what your customers want to see.
I watched one they did on, they just wrapped up an ornamental fence. Okay. And so, those plastic spacers, I guess you'd call them, that keeps the panels from scratching each other. Yeah, he went through and found a few of those. He's like, here's one.
Yeah, I can't remember, because he was on the side of the fence.
That might have been it.
That might have been what it was. And he's like, oh, I'm going to have to.
Was it the one where he had to crawl under the bush to get out?
Yes. I was wondering. I was like, where's he going to go?
That was a fun touch.
Where's he going to go
here?
Yeah.
Because anyone else could have just ended it right there.
Okay,
well, guys, I got to check you later. See you next time. No, John's like, we're going for an adventure. We are climbing under this bush.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yep.
So,
I was there for it. Yeah.
Mad prop, John. And it gets people talking.
Yes.
It gets 2 people from Southwest Missouri talking about Stony Creek Fence, Indianapolis area. So if you guys are watching from the Indianapolis area, you got to call Stony Creek Fence.
Go to Stony Creek.
He agrees. I like that emoji. Let's talk about emojis for a second.
Okay.
I've got questions.
Sure.
Or just general concerns, I guess.
Okay.
So I have been informed that the laughing, crying face emoji no longer used. The 100 with underscore no longer used. Those are boomer emojis.
What about the sideways one that John just used? I use that one a lot.
That's what brought this up.
It
might be a boomer emoji. So the emojis they're using are, I say they being kids.
Yes.
The skull and crossbones, because they're dead. You know what I mean?
It's so funny. I'm dead.
There's another one. I was being informed about this the other day from someone who has a
check mark. 100%.
It wasn't that one. What was it? Oh, they're back to LOL. Because he's like, they're doing LOL or the skull and crossbones for dead. No. You don't use you don't use this anymore.
When you don't use LOL. That's what.
Well, they're saying the crying emoji. They're like, no, that's boomer.
No, that's a LOL. That's I'm literally laughing out loud. I'm laughing so much that I'm crying. And there's different levels. Here's the deal.
Yeah. That's true.
In Sarah's emoji school, this is what we talk about.
School is in session. Okay.
The first one is just a regular cry, it's so funny. I had a tear, And then there's the dead level, and that's the sideways one where you're squinting. You're like,
oh. That one's the upper level of funny.
I can't even keep my eyes open. It's so funny. Yeah.
But the crying one, the eyes are closed. So it's ha ha. I'm almost certain on this. Yeah, check it out.
I'm going to check it out
right now. Check this out.
We're going to Snopes this real
Big
quick.
emoji show right now in the Ozark Fence studio.
Yep. Oh, you're right. They're both squinty. Well, but there is one where it has one little drop. It's it's smiling, and it's got a sweat. You're sweating it.
That one's
I really hope you think that's funny.
That was good. All right, well, talk to you later.
TTYL.
What? TTYL. Okay. Big emoji show. And we've got some people weighing in with emojis.
Let's hear it. Yep.
All right. I like this. Adventures with, you might read SCFCO.
Yeah.
Stony Creek Fence Company. I get it, but
yeah.
the title could reuse some reword. That's a lot of letters.
No, that's.
What's up, everybody? It's John Bowdy. This is Adventures with SCFCO.
I think it's Skifco.
Skifco.
Yep, Skifco.
Adventures
really
with Skifco.
Adventures with Skifco. And then they're like, what? And then they have to look at
right,
it. And
so now we need to trademark this really quick. All right.
You can buy it from us, John.
What's up, Candace?
Same.
I'm here's the thing. I use it because, honestly, I'm just talking with other boomers anyway.
Right.
So I'm not talking to
Gen
kids.
X.
Yeah,
Gen Z,
get out of here.
X,
It's seriously, I've got no time for people that don't use the crying face emoji.
Right.
You can get on my level.
Yeah.
Or you can go away.
You know what? You take your side part or your front part, center part out of here.
We talked about this too.
Yeah.
So this conversation was going on at the Springfield Sertoma board meeting.
Oh.
So that's this.
It's
lots
offensive.
of good stuff got done there.
Offensive.
Well, so I forget how this came up. Oh, because I think it was in the board meeting. Someone used a crying emoji face for a comment. Someone submitted their topic, and then whoever typed it up, the secretary, whoever put that emoji next to it, and then someone else was like, "Who's typing the notes around here?" That's not used anymore. Anyway, middle parts. Here's the thing: were Jinko jeans a thing when you were in school? They were huge. Bell bottoms are skinny jeans that bell at the bottom. These are just huge jeans, straight from the get.
I think in different groups.
Yes. Yeah. So Jinko jeans are back, and they are $150 a pair.
No.
It's a thing.
Macy, no.
No. At the Evers household, there will not be Jinko jeans.
No.
Period. End of story. Next conversation.
Is that the brand of them, or is that the type?
Yeah, no, it's the brand.
Okay.
It's a brand.
Okay.
Anyway, so we talked about Jinko jeans, and we talked about middle parts, and something else. Oh, they call high-waisted jeans mom jeans now.
I mean, that's fair.
So
that's fair. I've never been okay with that trend. I mean, some people can pull it off, but the middle part, the whole idea about not doing a middle part is it literally cuts your face in half, and so then people are trying to look at the differences of your face instead of doing. So you know what?
It's confusing. Whatever. It's very confusing.
Over it. And let's talk about the word boomer for a second. So they're talking about baby boomers, right?
Yeah, we're not boomers.
No, but also what boomers do you know of that use emojis in everyday life? They'd be our grandparents.
Yeah.
Could you have seen freaking grandpa using emojis? I don't think so.
Who was it? Somebody used, I think they used GTFO, but they did not intend for it to be that way.
Oh, Mom did that one time.
Maybe this is what I'm thinking about.
It was FTW.
Oh, that's what it was.
For the win.
For the win.
And I was like,
not for the win,
don't
actually.
Use that at your scrapbooking club, please. Don't do that.
I mean, I see where you're coming from. Those words do start with those letters.
It does, yeah.
But
it does seem appropriate. And
common use is not for the win.
In context, maybe.
Yeah.
Worst day ever, FTW. And they're maybe they're being sarcastic. For the win.
For the win.
I won worst day ever.
Oh.
All right, let's see who else.
All right, Steph. Yeah,
Thank you.
Fake news.
Fake news.
100%.
Get out of here. We gotta come up with a word for them.
Yeah, that emoji did not come up in the discussion that I was in, but I'm using this one.
This is a popular emoji that John's using here.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of emojis.
Yes.
You can use it in so many applications.
Well, and now there are toys with it. There are. Okay,
we have a plush doll of it at our house.
Yes, I'll say there are more toys with this emoji than any other emoji. I don't know why.
Have you watched the Emoji Movie?
No.
That's a pretty good movie.
Really?
You should watch it. Oh yeah. It's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's a good one. I don't want to give away any hot takes on it, but have your parents or grandparents been interviewed here to talk about how things have changed since they have started the company, different tools, techniques, etc.? No.
But
that is a good idea.
Yeah.
It would have been, how awesome would it have been if we had this set up when Grandpa was here to sit him down and just have a conversation. We could not do it live. It would be a recorded conversation that then we would broadcast later.
That would have been fun.
It would require editing. But that would have been a good time.
That would have been awesome if we could have gotten him up here.
We would have had to trick him.
What?
I'm not going to be on your TV show.
Yeah.
That's what it would have been.
Yeah. Unless Judge Judy was involved, and then he was game.
Or Louis L'Amour. Like, all right, come up. I need you to sit in this chair, and I'm going to give you a Louis L'Amour book.
Yeah.
He would have been up here in a heartbeat. And I'd be like, all right, well, before the book, I got some questions.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be on your TV show.
Yeah.
He was always asking me if I was recording my TV show at the house. Like, well, it's not. Okay, you can see it on TV. Yeah. Like, I do understand that thought. But he was, how's your TV show going? Oh, going pretty good.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a great idea, though, Kenny.
I like that idea.
Get Dad up here and talk about how things changed. And, it would be fun to get Dad and then Scott.
Yeah.
So, Scott is our crew chief on our wood crew. It'd be neat to see his perspective, too, on tools he's using currently versus tools he used 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Definitely neat.
Yeah.
I know when I was a kid, when I was building fence, all we had were the clamshell diggers and rock bars.
Well, every once in a while you got the tractor out there.
Yeah.
I do remember the tractor.
Yeah, Grandpa had the tractor that was for the big jobs.
Yeah.
For the big ones. He would load up the tractor and the auger, Big Blue.
Was that his old Ford?
Yeah. He'd load up the Ford tractor.
Yeah.
And he'd come dig holes. But that was like maybe 2 projects a year because it was a bit of a production getting that thing on site. Yep. So, but every now and then Big Blue would come out and dig holes. And those were good days because then all you did is you're just moving dirt out of the way from the auger. You didn't actually have to dig it up and do it the rock bar. So it says, I agree for once with Joe. Hey-oh! Thank you. This is being recorded. So Taylor has agreed with me at least once.
So what other
no Jinko jeans in the house. No, that's what she was saying on jeans in the household.
Yeah, I know.
No Jinko jeans.
I'm confused. I agree with once with Joe, like period, or have you guys also talked about jeans?
We haven't had the Jinko jeans topic specifically.
I'm talking about just regular jeans. Like, have you had?
I do wear jeans.
I agree with Joe about this jean topic, or I agree for once with Joe in general. You know what I mean? Like, I agree for once with Joe.
No, she agreed. Oh, good question. She usually does agree with me. Usually.
About jeans?
Just about things in general.
Is this like a misunderstanding? Have you guys talked about like skinny jeans or like?
Yeah, skinny jeans are definitely out.
Okay.
So are
ongoing conversations.
Yes. Here's a threat. Okay. There's an ongoing threat with Macy. Is my 12-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And actually, Taylor sent me a video of this.
I know where this is going.
Where it's a dad, and he is wearing some scandalously short shorts.
Yeah.
Waiting for his daughter to get off the bus.
Yep.
Or no, he picked her up from school. Anyway, and their deal was, however long her jeans were, his jeans would be.
Yep.
So she decided she's going to wear some short shorts to school that day. And there's old dad with some short shorts on.
Yep.
And here's the thing: is like I've got some stained jeans.
Yeah.
I've got some jeans with fence stain or with too much bleach on them, like whatever. Mm-hmm. Like I've got some old cut up jeans from Chili Bowl. Actually, they're not like super short shorts. They're not like Daisy Dukes or anything, but they can be modified.
Okay.
They can be modified.
Yeah.
So that threat is ready and waiting.
I love it.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Big fan.
Candace used all the emojis.
Yep.
Heart. Yeah, the high five. I like the high five.
That's like the phrase. Like,
woo. No, it's like up top.
No,
it's like a high five.
Are you sure?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure it's like a hallelujah.
Now that you're saying that does make more sense, but I've always viewed it as like a up top.
Up top.
That's the great thing about emojis, guys. They can really be, it's really open to interpretation. Yeah, it really could be. Big emoji show today. Big emoji show.
I'm going to second guess every emoji like I get from
you're probably right. Like I can see that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not wrong either. So,
yeah.
All right. Big emoji show today. Big emoji show. Guys, if you're just joining us, drop in your favorite emoji or say hi, whichever you would most prefer. That's how we know you guys are here. So the counter lets us know how many people are watching, but they don't let us know who's watching. So let us know you're here. We get to say hi. We'll even bring your comment up on screen and share within reason. Like I should probably start censoring the ones that say hello to that one first, That's probably a thing. That's actually probably exactly what we should do.
You know, when we switch the chairs, though, I'll be back in charge of the comments.
Oh, that's okay. So I'll just swap the studio. I'll just turn this whole thing around. No big deal.
Okay.
I put it here and I can change it if I want to. Yeah. So we'll start censoring comments. That'd be great. All right. One of my favorite dudes, Brent Midge.
Brent.
What is up, you beautiful person? This is why I like Brent. Like he has like such a great personality that it's like whatever's going on in your day, when Brent pops up in the comments, it's going to be a good one. Yeah, it's good. And let me tell you what, Brent is living his best life.
Yeah.
Like I live vicariously through Brent. I've never actually met Brent in person. Like we've chatted on the phone, we've texted, messaged, and all that. I never met him in person, but like he's one of these. So he lives over in California. Mm-hmm. He's a dive master, so he's always going to dive. He's got a dive boat, so he's got lobster and he has like funny seal. Like he seals. I was thinking, what's the other one? Sea lions, but these are definitely seals. Like he'll have seals kind of swim with him. And now he's got a side-by-side. So now he goes out into the desert and lives his best life out there.
That's awesome.
I'm like, listen, if you're trying to sell me on the live the Brent life, like I'm in. I'm in.
Brent experience.
I do.
Yeah.
Candace says, I use both. Depends on the convo and how it applies. Uses both. Right. Oh, like high five or raise the roof praise. Okay, good to know.
Okay. Learning new things.
All right. Yeah. Well, we've talked about a lot of stuff besides fence.
Sure.
What we got going next week? So we talked about, next week's going to be a rainy week.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of rain in the forecast. Still yet not heavy torrential rain, but rain nonetheless. And if we get 10 inches of rain by Sunday, there's not going to be a lot left for the ground to soak up. No. So any rain is going to turn into a soggy mess.
Yeah.
So let's talk about rain procedures, I guess. And so when we're thinking about work for next week, we're taking into account that it's already rained a ton, and any rain turns into a soggy mess. So how does that affect us? In regards to the yard situation. Is it a sodded yard or is it established?
Sure. So next week, we're pretty lucky in the sense that both of these are mature yards. Yep. So we're not having to deal with tearing up sod, that sort of thing. If it's ever kind of right on the edge, what I always like to do is just talk with the customer and explain, just be extremely transparent. Be like, hey, there's a good potential. I mean, yes, our auger is tracks.
Yeah, it's got wide tracks.
Yeah, yeah. So, does it help? Yes. Is it still going to damage the yard? Yeah. Especially a young yard that's, you certainly don't want to deal with that. But next week, we're pretty lucky on that front. Other than that, I mean, really just, like I said, being transparent with the customer too, and just saying, hey, we're aiming for Monday or Tuesday, but know that if it's, bad weather, they completely understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's just being honest up front and setting that expectation of, hey, we care about your yard and we care about your fence.
Sure.
And, being able to set posts in a really wet yard too, then you're waiting how much longer? It doesn't make sense. Then even if, the yard is wet and you set your post, you're going to be waiting a lot longer for them to dry than if you just wait it out a little bit.
Yeah, our goal is to leave your yard nicer than we found it. Yep. And absolutely. If we're coming into a sodded yard when it's wet, because here's the thing, I've seen us just by walking, we've walked ruts into a sod before, like especially at a gate. So, all of your tracks are funneled through this gate and then they're funneled back out. But where you're walking through this gate, it's only 4 foot. If it's single gate, it's only 4 foot wide. So you're really going to wear ruts right through that gate. So I think the point I was wanting you to make was that we take notes about yard conditions and all that, so that when we're looking at our production notes, it is, okay, I've got down that this is a sodded yard. It's a newly sodded yard. Mm-hmm. So the conditions have to be really right for us to do this well. Yeah. And in contacting the customer, even if it rained a couple days ago, there's still contact that says, hey, I know your yard's probably still pretty dry. If you don't mind giving me your feedback, would you feel comfortable with us bringing equipment onto the yard?
Yep.
That sort of thing.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
But those are the conversations that are going on today.
Yeah.
So it's also, one thing you do on Fridays is you go around to the other job sites, the job sites for next week, just checking conditions, making sure lines are located, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So that's probably what your afternoon looks like.
So I actually already did a final walkthrough Wednesday, And the lines were actually already marked on that property.
Perfect.
So okay, with flags, which is important.
Nice.
So yes, I've got 2 more to go to this afternoon.
Very good.
2 more, and then I think that's it. Yeah, for next week at least, because I already did that one. But yep, and then just kind of finishing up the jobs from this week.
Very good.
It'll be good. Yeah.
Very good. Kitty's got a very important question.
Oh, okay.
Is that a high five or praying?
Oh, for me, it's a pray.
I've always thought pray, but now that I'm looking at it
kind of looks like a high five.
High five.
Yeah, but they're both wearing the same color.
Well, 2 people that are wearing the same color shirt are allowed to high five.
Well, they should.
Like that is allowed.
They should be. You know what I mean? Like blue shirt, blue shirt.
That's a pretty good thought. That should be our thing. We high five everyone that wears orange.
Orange, yeah. I mean, I do instinctively.
There'd be a lot of high fiving around the office. I'll tell you that.
I wave at orange, like when they drive by. You're driving an orange truck. I'm driving an orange truck.
I see you.
Hey,
I see you. Good color selection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a nod, like. Yep. Good one.
So, what's funny? I had a guy. I was at the welding supply store swapping out welding gas, and this guy pulls up in an orange dually. And he's like, "Hey, you got some business cards?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." Gave him some cards. Like, you interested in a fence? He's like, "No." But every time I stop for fuel or stop anywhere, everyone's always asking me about fence because they think I'm with Ozark Fence. I'm a mobile welder. Like, I don't build fence. I'm not with Ozark Fence. But if you give me some cards, I'd be happy to pass them out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, all right. Well, there you go. So if you drive an orange vehicle and you would like some Ozark Fence cards, just come by the office.
Let us know.
We'll even give you a hat.
Yeah.
It'll match your vehicle. It'd be so nice.
Perfect.
But Kenny, to answer your question, I'm leaning towards praying, but I see where you're coming from with the high five. I really do.
It could be an either or. I think so. Maybe it's a context thing.
Depends on the situation.
Maybe we make it into the high five. Like in context, it'll be like, someone will say good idea, and you'll be like, yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
Emoji. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think
we're going to try it out in Slack first, Stephanie.
Oh,
so yeah. Slack is the app that we use to communicate with everybody. Instead of having like a big text chain or whatever, Slack. So then we can use it on the computer too.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna start trying out the emojis in Slack.
Yeah, because I do like the celebratory emoji sometimes. So now I'm just gonna do high five emoji.
There you go. Very good. Very good ideas going on here, for sure. All right. Well, what are your weekend plans? You got big weekend plans?
We will be so we're going on vacation with TJ's family.
Nice.
We're going to a cabin at Table Rock.
Okay.
A little rainy, but that's okay. We got other plans. Jackson, cover your ears.
Uh-oh.
We are going to the dinosaur museum.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, we haven't been. I was telling him about it. I was like, I think they really liked it.
Yeah, we took Jackson there last year. Well, for his second birthday. Taylor's family her sister was actually in town. So we took everybody to the dinosaur museum in Branson. It was a good time.
Good time?
It was well worth it. I don't even remember what it cost, but you can go through as many times. That sounds right. That sounds right. It was worth every penny. Now, you will want to get your own souvenirs. The souvenirs at the end, little pricey.
Okay.
Jackson found this little plush doll, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you can get that. Like that could be a day of birthday present or something." And Taylor looks at it, she's like, "Do you know how much this thing is?" I don't know, $10-15. It's $35. So go ahead and put that right back. You got presents at the house. We will we'll open one of those things up right now.
We'll go to Walmart this minute and you can pick out a dinosaur.
And of course, you can understand how that went with a 2-year-old that he couldn't get this 30, which is smart on the, listen, as a business owner, I understand what you're up to here.
Sure.
I get it, but it doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah.
So obviously you're not taking kids, but if you were to go to the museum and you were taking kids, bring your own souvenirs.
We're taking his nephews. So we'll blindfold them at the very end and just rush them through the gift shop.
Or just secretly have them in the car. Yeah. The presents.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, the kids know they're in the car.
The kids should not be in the car by themselves.
Not secretly. Yeah, not at all. Toys like in the back seat or like in the trunk or whatever. And they'd be like, "Hey guys, you're not going to believe what's in the trunk of the car. Do you hear it? Sounds like dinosaurs."
Yeah.
And then they'll run out right past all the super marked up toys.
Sure.
Boom. And they're in the car.
Love it.
You can tell it's not my first rodeo being with kids. Not my first time.
Okay, yeah.
But, so you should just go ahead and do that.
Okay, perfect. Love it.
Brent says, California spiny lobster season closure this weekend. Heading down to Southern California right now. You kids have a wonderful weekend. This is what I mean about Brent living his best life. That's awesome. I tell you what, Brent, best of luck. I am super jealous. I don't know about jealous. Like, you should never be jealous of somebody else's life, but living vicariously through you, my friend, for sure.
That's awesome.
Wish you the best, buddy.
Eat a bunch of spiny lobsters.
All of them.
All
get your limit.
Yeah.
On day one.
Yep.
I don't know if there are limits. I have to think there's limits.
There's probably limits.
It's probably daily limits, so maybe. Or maybe a season limit. I don't know.
Could it be, it could be like waterfowl hunting. Like you can only have so many per day, but then you have like a possession limit.
Okay, yeah.
Which I don't know what game warden is like following you to your house. Like, show me all the mallards you have, but maybe it's like that.
I'm here to check your possession of mallards. Please bring them all out. I would like to see them, please.
Yes.
So let's talk about your adventures last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
What were you up to last weekend?
That was a lot of fun. Okay, so there had been this group that I was following on social media, and they were building this lodge last year. And so I kind of got to see every step of the process. And so then this year it's an outfitter that does waterfowl hunting. And so this year they were running a deal on snow goose hunts, which I had never done. So I was like, okay. So I bought TJ and I a package for Christmas. That was part of his Christmas. And then I got to think about it. I was like, well, some of my other buddies are going to want to go. So I went ahead and got 4 spots. And so 4 of us went, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
The weather was not the best for it. It was a little sunny. So really good for us, sunny and warm. Birds don't really have to fly when it's sunny and warm,
Yeah,
so
that's probably true.
We still got a lot. We probably got 30.
Oh, wow. That does sound like a lot.
Well, so with snow geese, because they're destroying like the tundra up north, there are no limits.
Oh, wow.
No daily limits, no possession limits. You can have extended tubes.
Oh.
So like my shotgun, normally for like duck hunting, you can only have 2 in, like 1 in the chamber, 2 in the tube. So not here.
Nope,
here
unless you have all of them.
I think I had 7 in my tube and 1 in the chamber. So I had 8.
Could you have like one of those big magazines that's like they coil up?
Probably.
That would be something to see.
Yeah, you probably could. But that's how much they do not. I mean, they're very destructive. So I learned the history.
Okay. Okay. Please fill us in on the history of snow geese.
Big snow goose show now.
Here we go.
Big snow goose show. So back like earlier 1900s, they were starting to become not extinct, but they were limiting out and just having really huge like breeding problems, whatever. So weren't a whole lot of snow geese. So then they cut all the limits. You weren't allowed to shoot them. And then they kind of started easing up on the limits, and you could only have maybe like 2 per day, kind of like you do with ducks now. And then it got so out of control that they started kind of like expanding. But by that time, the breeding had gotten so out of control that they breed really fast. But what happened was they had this plan, right? And they said, okay, so if we just do no limits, by 2015, we'll be down to, I think it was like 3 million or something like that. Now it's at like 7 or 8 million, I think, or something ridiculous. Wow. Like it's not going as planned. So they're actually like encouraging people to like get into the sport because they're destroying ecosystems. Wow. So it's actually like a big deal. So there's a lot of people I think that frown upon it because like, oh, they're just shooting these geese. I'm like, you don't understand. Like there are a lot of animals that are going extinct because they're eating the food that doesn't. Yeah, and it's terrible. And
so it's kind of like the pythons in Florida, that sort of thing. They're not naturally occurring like in that environment. So when they show up, they're just destroying it.
Well, so it's up way north, like where they actually like live, and then they come down for kind of like you see Canadians.
They migrate.
Yeah, so they migrate, and so that part's fine. But then they go back up there and they eat all of the foliage and all kinds of stuff. It's not,
unreal.
And I don't know if you've ever encountered a goose, but they're not real fun.
They are not nice.
No. There's nothing silly about them. I'll be honest with you.
No. Yeah, where'd that saying come from?
Yeah.
Silly goose?
No. It should be
goose are mean.
Goose.
Yeah. You're mean as a goose.
Yeah.
Because they are hateful.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're spiteful.
Oh, they are. And they're full of vengeance. For crimes that you did not do to them.
No. You had nothing to do with it.
No. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna go as far as to say They're ran on hatred.
They are.
Instead of blood, hatred.
Hatred.
Just coursing through their veins.
Their hearts are black.
Yes.
Full of hate.
Yeah.
You know, there's that meme that runs around every now and then about a guy calling a goose a cobra chicken.
Oh, that's a Canadian goose. Is a cobra chicken. Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah, no.
They are mean as a snake.
Yep.
So from now on, no more silly goose.
No.
We need to get that saying out.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be you're mean as a goose, or you're as hateful as a goose, or you're just,
I don't know. We need a G word, not like greedy. I mean, they're not.
Well, silly goose doesn't start with a G.
I know, but it sounds like it rolls off the tongue better. You know, like you.
You ungrateful goose.
Maybe.
Kinda. That kind of works.
That kind of works.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Anyway, you guys that are watching, you know, thank you for sticking around for this.
Absolutely.
Because this is obviously ridiculous. But so help us get rid of silly goose.
No
Done.
more. So top 2 priorities. One. High five instead of pray.
Making this the high five.
High five one.
And this is the up top high five.
Okay.
Yeah. Up top high five emoji. Mm-hmm. And then get rid of silly goose.
No more.
Only you can substitute with you mean goose.
Mm-hmm.
You hateful goose.
Yeah.
You ungrateful goose.
Yeah.
What else? You spiteful goose.
Spiteful goose. Yeah.
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 No more silly goose. Because here's the thing: is we're teaching children that geese are silly. People, that's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
That is setting them up for a very bad goose experience. Yes. I've had one. When I was a child, I had a damaging goose experience.
Yeah.
I was feeding the fish. I was feeding the fish bread. Because that's what I love to do.
Yeah.
Listen, I was probably like 4.
Yeah.
That's what 4-year-olds are built for, is feeding fish.
Right.
And I don't even want to go into all the details.
Can you still talk about it?
I don't want to get into all the details, but I'm just telling you. There's a goose that wanted that bread. Oh. And I have memories of me screaming, running down this lakefront.
Yeah.
And then I threw the bread at it.
Wasn't enough.
Still chased me.
Wasn't enough.
Still came after me. People, this is what happens when we teach our children that geese are silly.
They're not.
No. Stop being part of the problem. Be part of the solution.
Yep.
Get rid of silly goose. This saying silly goose.
You know what? Since we're in such a big cancel culture,
yes,
cancel silly.
Silly goose canceled from now on.
Yep.
How do we do that? Is there like a cancel button?
You have to post a lot on social media about it.
Okay, a lot.
Stay tuned.
Get on it. Canceling silly goose effective now.
Yeah, trending cancel silly goose.
Yeah, start trending that. How do you do that? Yeah, start it up. Start the trending engines. Silly goose, canceled. Done with that nonsense.
On a somewhat related note, we did get to see swans. And that's pretty cool. You don't see a whole lot of swans in this area.
That would be neat.
And so we saw these 3, big things. They're big and wide, and everyone's like, whoa, 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 do not shoot. Like, they're swans. And because from afar, you can't really tell. They got long necks, And then get up close. These things are huge.
Really?
Huge.
I don't know that I've ever seen one in person, honestly.
It's like every bit of 6 foot. Like, it's huge.
Really?
I bet their bodies were probably this big, but like that. Like, they're big.
Wow.
And so they flew by, and the outfitter we went with always has a photographer with every hunt that they go on.
Makes sense.
And so there was a younger kid on ours, super great guy. And so he was he got a new gun. So he was messing with his gun when they flew by. And so one of the outfitters is like, hey, Tanner, did you get that picture? And he goes, no, what was it? And he was like, are you kidding me? Like, it was a swan and it had a neckband on, which is like super unheard of. Like, you see them, but they're heard of, but they're not.
What does the neckband denote?
So it's a conservation thing.
Okay.
So they would have, it's basically to track their progress, like to track where the swans go, to make sure that, because swans are somewhat endangered, at least in this area. So you have to go to I know up north, I think you go to like North Dakota and then go to the Carolinas. Okay. And that's really the only places you can go. Maybe Florida. I'm not totally sure, but around here you cannot shoot them.
Okay.
Their numbers aren't great. So it's to track their movement and just make sure they're okay.
Interesting.
So with ducks, if they're banded, and that's what's called banded, you can shoot them, and then you turn it in. So you call the conservation, and you actually get money back. Like they want to incentivize you telling them where you shot the goose or the duck, whatever.
Yeah.
So this goose, and if it has double bands, like even crazier, like even more money. So this particular goose had a neck band, and then when he went to take off and go flying, he had 2 bands on his feet. So he was a triple banded goose.
Wow.
Which was really cool. And I was trying to explain to TJ, like, because TJ was first time out hunting waterfowl, really.
Sure.
I was trying to tell him, I was like, you will literally never see that again in your life. Like, it was really cool. It was really neat. And they were able actually to, with swans, you definitely don't shoot them to turn it in. But they were able, he got so close that they were able to turn in the number and let them know, like, where he was.
Really?
And as, like, a thank you, they send you a replica of that band.
So no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, hey, thank you for not shooting this bird, but telling us where he's at and how many were in the flock and all of that. So yeah, there were, or I don't know, are swans gaggles? It's a gaggle of geese, but I don't know. Yeah. But there ended up being 5 of them, and it sounded like, the only thing I can describe it is like a middle school marching band. Like they were like trumpeting, like out in the pond. It was really cool. It was really neat. And then when they went to take off, it sounded like, almost like an airplane. Like it was just this like hum and just like whoa, 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 whoa.
It's because they're really so big.
They're so big. That was honestly probably the coolest part of the whole trip. Like, it was awesome.
Cool.
It was very cool. I'd never seen a swan up close, so that was really neat.
Well, and I've got to ask you about one. So I saw Chris Treese this morning.
Yes.
And he told me about a blue goose.
Yes.
And it's not really blue per se, because I am pictured like a royal
blue. No.
Not royal blue.
No.
It's like a blue gray.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which they're pretty. I had never seen one of those in person. I'd always ever thought, I didn't realize that there were different like subspecies of like snow goose.
Okay.
So the one I always thought was the white, and then it has black.
Yep.
But no, these blues are what they call them, and they're beautiful. Some of them are a little more blue than gray. Some are just really dark gray. The one that is going to be probably in my living room is it's really pretty. So it's gray, and then its feathers on its wings almost look like tuxedos. Like they're black with like a white stripe down the middle.
Oh, that's cool.
And then he has a black, so his head's kind of white and speckled with gray, but then he has a black mohawk all the way down.
Oh,
it's
that's
pretty
neat.
Cool. Yeah, it's really neat. So there's those, and then there's what they call a Ross, which is a smaller like subspecies. And they're pretty small. Like I brought one back to train a piper, and it's probably, I bet my mallard's bigger than that.
Interesting.
But you can tell how old they are because they get warts on their nose or on their beaks.
Really?
So one of the ones that we were able to get the last day, the outfitter brought it over to me, and he was showing me, he's like, this is a really young one because it doesn't have any warts. I'm like, oh, the more you know.
Good to know.
Big goose show. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give you an idea.
Okay.
And I'll be up front. I also gave it to Chris. So it's like whoever does it first gets to say it's theirs.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to go hunting for like lots of things and then create like a nature scene on your wall.
Yeah.
Where like the goose is like flying in for a landing, like go hunt for like a wolf and have like a wolf like jumping up to get it. And meanwhile there's an elk in the corner like bugling. Like I'm thinking you could really do this.
And halfway there. I mean,
head up to Alaska, you get a bear. Have like a bear like raw over in the corner. So in one corner you got an elk, one corner you got a bear. You can really do this.
Okay. So on a similar topic.
Okay.
I've got a pet peeve that I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
It's
big pet peeve show.
New pet peeve.
New pet peeve. Okay.
I just gotta say this, and I might get some backlash. And
put it out there.
I'm sorry.
Just let it eat.
Mountain lions are in this area. They are.
Oh yeah.
So.
Is there a thing where people don't think they are?
Sort of. I'm minding my own business. And let's go as far as to say, like, would you consider a mountain lion a panther?
No. Panthers are black.
Not necessarily.
Mountain lion. So are you thinking
not
cougars?
Black panther. I'm talking about
mountain
just like
lions
a panther.
are
it's kind of like
cougars.
People think like a panther, like I don't know, like a big cat.
Yeah.
Is what I'm picturing. So a mountain lion is technically like it's a panther, but it's brown. Same size, whatever. I guess maybe panthers can be bigger.
Yeah.
But here's where my pet peeve lies.
Okay.
There are a lot of people that are in denial that they are not here.
They're absolutely here.
They're here. I have bobcats on my trail cam. They're here. Second of all, I was just minding my own business, scrolling through, and one of those reputable news places that are local that I will not call out.
Are we saying reputable?
It was.
Oh,
it was
okay.
But I'm not going to say which one.
Does it rhyme with Sway Y3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it does.
Just so I know.
Had some people that had got this big cat, and they were like, "We don't know what it is. It looks like a big black cat." And I'm like, "Could it be because it is a big black cat?" It's like it was a black panther that they caught on, like a black cougar, whatever, that they caught on camera. And so people are like, "We don't have them here." And then there are other people that are arguing like, "I beg to differ. We sure do."
Yeah.
But it was making me so angry because they're like, "It looks like a big black cougar." And they're like, "What could it be?" And I'm like, perhaps.
Probably a big black cougar.
It could be a big black cougar.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're all over. Like trail cams out at Grandpa's place when I was hunting there. There's mountain lions all over.
Yeah, and they don't care. They're like waving to you like, hey.
One came through and it had another animal in its mouth, like as it was like just cruising through. It was like, hey,
looks into the camera.
Look what I got.
That's right. This chicken, mine.
I also hunt here.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what it was saying.
Oh, you hunt here too. Oh, cool.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Look what I got. Show me yours. Yeah.
So I feel like
I don't know why I gave mountain lions that voice. It's kind of a degrading voice. Hey,
how's it going? Maybe they're like luring you, like they're lulling you into a false sense of security.
I always thought about mountain lions like when I'm in my blind, because I'm like, you know what? I can't see them, but they know I'm here.
Okay.
Like they know it's warm, so like they know something's in there. Like they can pick up heartbeats and all that. It's like, it could come crashing through this at any second. And the only thing standing between me and a mountain lion is tent material.
Yeah. And your bow.
Well, yeah. But I got my bow pointed this way.
Yeah.
Like out. What happens if it like drops in?
I don't know. I think you're giving them a lot of credit. I don't know that they think that.
If they did, they'd really be onto something.
I don't know that they're
we
part
could
of
really
like
be in trouble.
Navy SEAL team. I'm just gonna like drop in.
They do drop. They do come out of trees though.
They do. No, they do.
Yeah, they do.
I think the biggest thing here is you just have to worry whenever it's breeding season when there's babies involved.
Yeah.
Other than that, like they're really not super worried about you.
That's what I've always heard. I've heard they're more scared of you than you are of them, like that standard thing. Like if they hear you coming, like they are gone. Like they're not waiting around to see what it is. So that's what I'd always heard. Yeah, mountain lions are absolutely in Southwest Missouri.
Yeah.
Same thing with bears.
Yeah.
Like bears are coming up from Arkansas, so there's getting ready to be a bear season.
Yeah. Yeah, which is and someone actually had on their trail cam in Fair Grove, which don't get me started, but they think like it could be a wolf or like a wolf cross. And so I was researching it because I was the mountain lion person that was like, no way. No, I think they said that they're coming in from like Colorado and coming in from neighboring states.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, it's very, and that's what they were trying to say about mountain lions forever. They said, oh yeah, they're ranging in from Oklahoma and Arkansas. But one was a mountain lion with cubs. Mm-hmm. And so then the farmer's like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
They do not bring cubs when they go roaming and ranging.
It's like the male has a 600-mile roaming radius and the female has like a 60.
Yeah.
So
yeah, especially with cubs.
Yeah.
Like she's not taking her cubs ranging.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No fences will keep mountain lions in. Just
nope. We do not build mountain. Well, actually, I almost misspoke.
Yep. I did the same thing.
A standard fence. Yes. We don't do standard fences that will keep out mountain lions.
Or open top fence.
Yeah, but we did do a cage for a mountain lion once.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So it was for Winners of Wildlife. They had been donated a mountain lion by the Missouri Conservation. So a conservation agent got a tip that this farmer had a mountain lion in his barn. Mm-hmm. He's just feeding it chickens. And so it was off-site. We built a special cage for a mountain lion. And it was so depressing because she was just emaciated. Because all she'd been eating is chickens.
Yeah.
If you only eat one thing all the time, you're not getting the nutritional supplements that you should be getting, from your normal diet.
Not to mention that's not something that they would really encounter in the wild.
No.
You can find it in a farm.
Well, and my point was, like, what's your end game on that? Like, if you're a farmer keeping a mountain lion, like, what do you do with it?
Well,
other than just keep feeding it chickens.
If I had remembered correctly, he defanged her too.
I think that's right. I think that's right. She
wouldn't have survived in the wild.
No. So we ended up building her a cage. She's not there anymore. So they must have, I would say she's probably in a zoo system or rehab, something like that. But so we do build mountain lion pens.
I'm going to see if I can find that.
We have done it before.
Dad has a picture of you by her.
Yeah, it was me in front of the cage with her, and you can see her. Gosh, I was 20,
I was going to say, you were young, yeah.
Yeah, it
was.
You
can see her at the very top. She was kind of looking down.
Her eyes are like glowing, like in the back from the flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
It was neat. So, but so we do. If
can.
you legally possess a mountain lion, so if you are a zoo or an aquarium, I don't know why I'm talking to you because we already do the pins for the zoos and aquariums in the area. But if you come across a mountain lion, you know who to call. Yeah. We're all in. Yep. We've also let's talk about crazy cages we've done. Okay. So at Wonders, we did one for the beavers. Yeah. We did cages for the beavers. So, all right, let's talk about this for a second. When we say we do commercial animal cages, we are not talking about pet breeding operations. True. Right. And I say that because I don't know why last night. Oh, I know why. So I was going through our reviews last night because we had one that we needed to respond to. And I was going through, like, there's 2 1-star reviews saying their website says they build, dog cages, dog kennels. And, I never support somebody that promotes, pet breed or like puppy mills. Yeah. Like, listen, we don't. Like, we are pet people. Right. We like our pet. Like, I'm not going to support a puppy mill situation. 2, puppy mills are not buying custom fabricated kennels. They're buying the pre-made kennels at insert home improvement store name or farm store name, like whatever. They sell cheap import kennels. That's where those guys and gals are going to. They don't come to us. We build them for veterinarians, and what would you call like puppy palaces? Like weekend doggy daycares? Yeah, doggy daycare. Yep. Do them for them, and then zoos.
Sometimes like the aquariums. Sporting trainers, like they'll have
where they
training have centers. Like sporting dogs that they happen to breed. But it's not like a mass production facility.
Different situation.
Yeah, for a purpose, not just for the money.
Yeah, it's not mass breeding. Right. Because, again, to my original point, those folks are not paying for custom kennels.
And if you've ever been to one of those places, very rarely do they even have kennels. Like, they're not in great.
Right. Anyway. But we do enjoy building custom kennels. Yeah. And it tends to be, like, there's some cool stuff out there. So we did one, I don't think we could say who it was for, but it was for birds. Yes. It was for raptors. And so raptors have, like, and we're talking raptors. So long, big wingspan. So they need flying cages because they fly long distances. And so if you keep them contained in a smaller cage, their muscles start to atrophy and all that. So they need long cages, think football field length cages that are wide enough for their wingspan. And so they get to stay in these cages. So we did one of those. That was pretty neat. Very cool. It was, I wanted so badly to do a video, and I was like, all right. And so I was working it out with one of their people, and I was like, okay, I mean, we won't show anybody. We won't show where, like, it'll start with me inside this thing, and we'll make sure there's no identifiers that can be seen, like, in the background or anything. Like, I just want so badly to show this because it's so cool to watch one of these birds, like, leave its perch and swoop down and then back up like a football field away. Like, that is nuts. But he was good with it, but he ran it up the ladder, and they're like, there's too many downsides and not enough upsides, and so I was like, okay, like it has to be a win-win. It can't just be a win for us; it need to be a win for them too. And there really wasn't a way for it to be a win for them, just because they couldn't say, they couldn't say who they were or where they were. You know what I mean? Like, just
and location-wise for the safety of the birds too.
Right.
It just didn't make sense.
But that would have been neat.
That would have been really cool.
That would have been super cool.
So if you have raptors and you need a cave, and you were down to let
if you legally own raptors, let's say that.
Hopefully not the same people that legally own mountain lions.
I would hope not.
But
if they legally own them, then that means that they're registered and they get checked out and.
Okay.
I'm just saying, maybe it's out there. Maybe it's out there. All right.
We got a lot of comments.
All right. So Brent says 7 a day is maximum on California spiny lobsters. Do not get 8. Do not get 7.5. Only 7 a day.
7. All right.
So I hope that you get 7 a day.
Yes.
Yeah. So Taylor's doing soccer shopping for Jackson this weekend.
That's
so
awesome.
Little man Jackson is on a soccer team, and I cannot imagine what a soccer team of 3-year-olds will be like.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it should be entertaining to watch. So soccer shopping. John Bowdy says, "You guys rock." Oh, I like that emoji. Like rock out.
Rock on. Yeah.
I have to make sales call.
All
Go
right.
for it, Rowdy
Get
Bowdy.
that sale.
Sell the fence. Michelle Myers, hey Joe, I'm from Alaska.
What?
We've got a guide. We have an Alaskan guide ready to go.
Michelle, show us where those...
Maybe a pink collars retreat.
Oh, I like it.
Hey?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd prefer summertime retreat. I don't know that I want to go to Alaska in the winter, but it just so happens to be turning into summer.
That's true.
So, yes, Michelle, we will be attending the Pink Collars Summit in Alaska.
The Customer Appreciation Summit.
Oh, Customer Appreciation.
Can't wait.
RSVP us, yes.
Alaska.
Times 2. Me and a friend. Sarah's not coming. So. Dylan Lama, welcome back.
Hi, Dylan.
Have you seen a decrease in materials? Yeah, so we should actually probably talk about fencing content. Great idea. Thank you, Dylan, for bringing us back on track. Yeah, so... Absolutely. Yeah, the answer is yes. Backstory. So last summer and last fall, we saw material shortages in treated pine. Mm-hmm. So the market that wasn't treated pine, that did not have materials available or available reasonably, then went to cedar. Yep. So then we started seeing cedar shortages and pricing for cedar go up. Now currently is vinyl. Now we don't install a lot of vinyl. One or two projects a year. Like, it's not really a thing for us. But the guys I talk to that do install vinyl say it is just not available. And some of it is available if you want 6 foot tall, solid in white. Mm-hmm. You could probably find that somewhere. But if you want 5 foot privacy with a foot of lattice in almond, good luck. Not going to be there. Like I said, we don't deal a lot in vinyl, so that hasn't impacted us directly. What is starting to impact us is chain link and then ornamental steel and aluminum. Yep. So the metal markets are starting to see decrease in materials, which, i.e., is an increase in cost. Yep. So they said steel shortages because the raw goods, the ore, the deliveries for ore in the fourth quarter were like 30% of what they ordered. So a massive decrease in shipments of ore, which then is going to lead to less actual material being produced. Yeah. What's really seen a price increase is going to be vinyl coated chain link. Yeah. So you have your steel increase on the chain link, and then you have, the vinyl coating is a petroleum-based product. Yeah. So you can watch the gas pumps and have a pretty good idea what's going on with the vinyl coated and vinyl market in general. But for us, the vinyl coated market. So these products had a price increase for steel, but they've also been having regular price increases for the vinyl coating as well. It's available, but it's expensive. It's expensive. Yeah. And so there's some suppliers that are limiting colors. Yeah. So you can get black, but you cannot get brown or green. Some suppliers do have access to brown and green, but it is like triple the cost of black or something. Like it is ridiculously priced. 12 weeks out. Yeah, right. Yeah. So forever to get it. And then when you do get it. Now here's the next tricky part. So what they've started doing too on this is they don't price it when you order it. Mm-hmm. They price it when they deliver it. So if it's a 12-week out product, then it doesn't even matter what it costs right now. They will charge you the current price 12 weeks from now of what it costs at that given moment. So you have no idea what the materials are going to cost. Like every week when we get a material delivery, it's a new and exciting day because then we get to find out what we actually paid for the stuff. Now, we don't get the bill till after it's unloaded and you've signed for it. Yeah. And you have to have your card on file with them. So then they just let you know what they charged your card for. So it's crazy right now. To try to run a business like that it's just not great. No. But
some might call it frustrating.
Yeah, frustrating is a good word. It's a good word for that. Yeah. So imagine, if you thought you were going to pay $5 for this thing and you ordered it and they said, okay, yep, we'll take that order. And then they deliver it a week later and then they say, oh, by the way, I ran your credit card for $8.50. Like, whoa. This thing cost $5 last week. They're like, oh, that was last week's number. Yeah, this week, the materials we ordered right now, the current price of them is $8.50, and you actually already signed for receiving it. So
it's yours now.
Congratulations, you now have the thing for $8.50.
You are a proud owner of an $8.50 thing.
Yep. And there's no recourse. There's not. It's
No.
It's nuts. So frustrating is a very accurate word. So yeah, Dylan, have we seen a decrease in material? Yes, and we've also seen a significant increase in the material cost.
Yep.
All right, so Dylan, is this the high five?
I don't know.
Or is it a wave?
No, I don't think it's a wave.
We've been talking about emojis a lot.
The wave has a little...
Has lines?
Yeah.
Maybe
he's like, stop. Enough.
Agreed.
The material increases.
Yes.
I agree.
Dylan, hand emoji right back at you.
You know what? No.
No, that's high fives.
Yeah.
This is just me agreeing with his stop emoji. Stop the madness.
High five, we agree.
No, that's
we agree.
That's a high five. That one.
Okay.
You might call it a prayer emoji.
Nope,
high five emoji.
Not anymore.
Not that we have anything against prayer emojis.
No.
We are okay with prayer emojis.
Prayer emojis.
We just think that one should be the high five emoji.
Yep.
Also, why is your product better than big box stores when it comes to cedar or pine pickets? Great question. So easy answer is going to be quality.
Sure.
Right. So when you get into cedar, and especially lumber in general, grading, there can be misinterpretations on grading and maybe misrepresentations on grading. Typically, you would find a little bit lower quality board, or sometimes significantly lower quality, thinner boards.
Yep.
So instead of a 1/2 inch, they're going to call it a 3/8, which you're like, that's pretty close. Not really close. It's generally going to be a quality issue, and I mean they're more expensive than where we would find them at the wholesalers, that sort of thing. Now, by the time we buy them from the wholesalers, house them on our lot, mark them up to cover the cost of having the lot, the guys to load and unload, will they be more expensive per picket than a home store? Probably. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's just where they have to be right now. We don't buy lumber in train car loads, so we can't negotiate the same prices that a lot of the home stores, are able to negotiate. But I'll say this, when we install like a cedar fence, we install from cedar material. We have access to the home stores, obviously, but we're buying the cedar materials from wholesalers of that material just because we can get better quality at a better price.
Right. Well, and we can also offer a warranty that the big box stores can't.
Well, that's true too. Why don't you speak on the warranty?
Yeah. So I think to take kind of a step back too, I came from a quality background, so quality is huge to me. And so when I look at kind of our product versus a big box store, I look at the fact that not only are our suppliers looking at it before they send it to us, but we're looking at it when it gets to the lot to make sure that when a customer comes in and buys it, they're not buying split boards. They're not buying.
Right.
Does that occasionally happen in transit? Sure. Do we stand behind it? Yep. So because we're able to do that.
And we account for it too.
Right.
We account for a 3% loss just due to cullable items, not holes on the edge of a board, splits in the board, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and so when you talk about the thickness of the board too, what I see is the most important is when you're actually putting nails through it. So the thicker the board, the less likely it is to split. Yep. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen immediately. It could happen over time, when you do have your weather, whatever. But my point was that with more eyes on it, you have a better quality product. And then because it is a better quality product, you're able to offer that warranty. So our warranty right now is a 15-year warranty against warp, rot, insects.
And that's supplied by the manufacturer.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So the manufacturer, the mill of the boards, just issues a 15-year warranty on the boards.
Yep. Which to us tells us that they know that their product is good enough that they'll stand behind it for 15 years. And I'm just gonna challenge you. Next time you're at Lowe's, ask them what their warranty is on their pickets or Home Depot, whatever, big box store. Because they're not able to offer that, and it's because to your point, they're just buying them in such mass quantities.
Sure.
They can't,
Yeah, and they're generally buying at a lower price to where the mills are trying to find a way to sell them this board at the lower price.
Right.
And so if that means increasing the coal content from 3% to 6, 7, 8%, then so be it. Yep. Maybe that they'll find a buyer for those at the end. It's quality. Yeah. Generally, it's going to be quality.
Absolutely.
I would challenge you to come take a look at one of our boards and then compare it to a board that you'd find at a home improvement big box store. And I think it becomes, pretty evident just putting the two of those boards side by side that it's apples and oranges. It really is.
Yeah. Well, especially when you can pre-stand them too. which is pretty cool.
That's it.
That's something that I think is kind of a personal goal of mine, is to find a way to. I mean, we already can pre-stain, but to just increase our material sales of pre-stain boards.
Yeah. So right now we offer pre-stain when we install a fence, but that's one of our action items for 2021 is to develop the process for just having a bundle of each of our popular colors on hand at any given time for retail sales.
Right.
Because right now, if you were to buy a bundle of cedar pickets and say, hey, also, could you pre-stain these? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but it's going to be a 3 or 4 day delay by the time we make sure, bring them inside, dry them out, stain them, let them dry again, repackage them. It's probably a 3 or 4 day process. So it'd be nice to have a bundle of each color just pre-stained on the ground, ready to go. That is absolutely one of our 2021 action items.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, in some box stores, you'll find maybe a color of pre-stained pickets if you're lucky, if they have them in stock.
Yeah, and that's going to be the thing, is some of them show them as available, but they're available for order.
Yeah.
For special order. And then you get into lead times and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be really nice to have them on hand, ready to load up. Absolutely.
Because that's something that I get a lot, like on the residential side, is people want it stained, but maybe they don't want to do themselves.
Sure.
Or they don't want to pay for someone to come back out there. It's just they're not ready for that investment immediately.
Well, it's just easier to have it pre-stained.
Oh my gosh, yes.
When it's done. Like you said, there's no follow-up trips, there's no masking, there's no anything. When the fence goes up, it's done.
It's done.
And it's not going to be weather dependent. So we have the ability now to pre-stain indoors. We've got a shop that we do pre-stain in. So if we had a project coming up that needed pre-stain pickets today, well, it might be dumping rain outside, but
you still do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice, warm, and dry inside where we do the staining. By all means, we can stain a couple bundles today pretty easily and have them dried and ready to go for Monday.
Yep.
So it's not weather dependent. It's actually a little bit more cost effective too to have us pre-stain it. The process is quicker and more efficient. So you actually end up saving a little bit of money on pre-stain versus post-stain anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right,
Dylan.
Awesome. Yeah, great. Thank you for the fence-related questions. Getting us back on track, talking about fence on a fence show. What a novel concept.
I like it.
Dylan clarified it is a high five.
A high five. All right.
Thank you, Dylan. All right. Well, guys, we are an hour and a half into a 1 hour show, so we're probably going to go ahead and say last call for questions, comments. Drop them in the comments below, and we'd be happy to answer them. If you're watching this as a recorded content, you can still leave the comments in the comment section below.
Absolutely.
We watch the social media channels, whether we're watching this on Facebook or YouTube. We always watch the channels for continuing comments and try to either A, answer them at that time, or B, hold them over for the next week and answer them live for you guys. Also, if you're watching this, be sure to give it a like. It actually does make a big difference on the channels. If we have more likes on videos, it kind of gives those channels, the platforms, more indications that we're providing content that you guys like to watch.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
Yep. I tell you what, guys. So it looks like there's no further comments or questions. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Sarah, how does someone get a hold of you if they have more fence questions?
Yeah, so as you said, you can either comment here. We do keep an eye on that. Or you can email me at sarah@ozfence.com. And that's Sarah with an H.
There you go. Let me throw this up here really quick. Yes, I know it is backwards. That's because I didn't think about this when I was doing the studio layout. But it's Sarah, SARAH, at ozfence.com. If you got a question for me, it's Joe at ozfence.com. I'm always more than happy to help however I can. And we will not be here next week. So next week I've got a speaking engagement in Atlanta for the Hot Guns event. So for pressure washing contractors. So and this is a bit much for one person to try to figure out. And we're still kind of in flux, right? So we've got some equipment here that's not hooked up quite yet, but probably will be in the near future, so that we're trying to give you guys better better produced content, a higher production quality content. So what I want to do is I keep saying this, I want to make this happen. Like up high somewhere, have another camera so that when we're doing the countdown in the beginning, we can show like a behind the scenes.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So we've got like a little switcher. Well, I can't show you guys, but we got a little switchboard here that should be able to make that happen. So we've got that to where we can kind of switch camera views and
perfect.
Pretty nice content ideas we've got going on here. But well, guys, for now, I'm Joe Everest.
I'm Sarah.
With Ozark Fence, we're happy you guys joined us, and we can't wait to see you guys in 2 weeks. We'll see you guys later.
Have a good weekend.